Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News Today starts now.
Environmental investigators believe they found the source of a leak that caused a state of emergency in Flat Rock.
And it's the largest college football stadium in the country. Now, the Big House is drawing big concerns over the potential spread of the coronavirus.
And taking a live look outside, it's a cloudy and cool start to your morning, but just look at that sunrise. If you're out, getting in your early morning walk or a run, I'm sure that just looks even more glorious in person. Perfect weather for it too this morning. I was thinking that the other day, so I've been trying to get into running. I started to get into running at the beginning of the pandemic. Then I just got into, bread. And so now I'm back to being like, okay, let's try running. And the weather the last few days, I was like, oh, it feels easier on your lungs trying to breathe.
They did it just because of you.
Thank
so you're
you.
the reason for this.
Yeah, exactly.
Paul, this is why we have nice weather.
We have to take care of Priya, don't we?
Wow.
We always take care of Priya.
Okay, I can already hear the jokes coming.
That's the word around here. All right, we're dry here on Storm Tracker 4, and you notice you see a few little green speckles back to the west. So let's kind of widen things out a little bit. And what you can see now, the Detroit radar is right here in White Lake. And notice you see it's like an arc here. Well, that's because the radar beam is going out, and it's angled slightly, so it's going higher and higher as it gets farther out. It's at this point here, it gets to a level, probably about 8,000 or 10,000 feet, where it's finally seeing some raindrops. The thing is, it's dry below that, so these raindrops are evaporating before they hit the ground. So we're left with a beautiful sunrise here in our Mount Clemens sky cam. Most of us are in the 60s, but notice Port Huron and the rest of the Thumb, you're well down into the 50s. But south of the Thumb, except for Mount Clemens, south of the Thumb and west of the Thumb, we are in the 60s right now. And so beautiful start to the day. I think we have a mix of sun and clouds through early afternoon. Clouds increase, perhaps a scattered shower late afternoon, better chance tonight. Looks like 78 for the high, so fairly pleasant day, and if we can keep these showers restricted to the overnight, I think all 3 days of the holiday weekend are looking pretty good. We'll break that down for you straight ahead.
All right, thank you, Paul. Time now is 7:02, and we continue to follow breaking news this morning. The faculty strike at Oakland University officially over. Both sides have reached an agreement, and classes are expected to resume today. The faculty members marched outside OU on Thursday and Friday, demanding better pay and benefits, while students were not able to attend class during the past week. More details on the deal are expected later today.
It's finally time for college football. This year at the Big House, though, will be much different from last year. Yeah, more than 100,000 fans will pack Michigan Stadium today for this season's home opener between the Wolverines and the Broncos. Nick Monticelli joins us live this morning in Ann Arbor. And Nick, there are concerns about just having this large group of people at the Big House where masks are optional.
Yeah, so what's interesting is that Grant just said that there's a big difference from last year, and that's very true because there were no fans allowed inside the Big House last year. But then you look behind that, 1 year behind that, and there's almost no difference. And that's basically the concern, is that you've got 100,000 plus people packing into the Big House. The mask requirement is not there. Masks are optional, and as you mentioned, health officials are concerned.
Great day here in the Midwest for football.
We may have seen the Wolverines in action last year. Fans in person did not, though. That changes today. For the first time since the 2019 season, fans are allowed back into the Big House.
I'm absolutely pumped.
And many students like Declan Gaffney are thrilled.
I'm just excited for the energy of the place, to say the least.
But while there's excitement from some, there is COVID skepticism from others.
Of course it has the potential to be a super spreader event.
Today's home opener has very few COVID restrictions. Masks are suggested, not mandatory, unless you're in an enclosed space like a restroom. But for the most part, as U of M takes on Western, it'll be business as usual. And many Ann Arbor residents feel it isn't.
COVID's not over. It's still here, and people crowded together. It makes me nervous because they're so close. Even though they're outside, it's just not the time to to be risky like that.
And even the fans admit a mask suggestion is only that, and many will not be wearing one.
I don't think so, to be honest. I think there's a decent amount of people that are vaccinated. At least that's what I've heard from emails and stuff. So I think there's not going to be very many masks.
All right, so back out here live at the Big House. If you are coming to the game today and actually going inside the Big House, even though masks are suggested, not required, suggested, they are required in enclosed spaces, so places like restrooms or the fan shops. You've got to have a mask if you're going to go inside of one of those areas, so bring one with you. Now, Grant and Priya, it's been a year and a half, almost 2 years actually. It has been 2 years. I kind of forgot how diehard the fans are. It is 7 o'clock in the morning. They started lining up tailgating over an hour ago. Fans are walking around. Kids are being pulled in wagons. And one fan I talked to actually kind of put it perfectly. She said she's really, really excited for the game to be back, for the Big House to be open, but she thinks people still need to be cautious. It's kind of that right in the middle line that people need to be on.
And the folks that you're seeing walking around, those diehard fans, are you seeing any masks right now or not so much yet?
Zero. Not a single one yet. Now, granted, they are outside and there's really nobody around them just yet. So I think if you want to start gauging, probably wait a little bit later until that part.
Absolutely. Well, I got to say, I also love that sunrise that's happening
I was just thinking, I'm a little distracted this morning. That sunrise is great behind you there, Nick.
Thanks, Nick. Well, Ford says its Downriver assembly plant is likely the source of a foul odor in Flat Rock that neighbors started smelling 3 days ago.
Now, anyone who lives near that plant is being warned that if you smell gas, get out of your house. As Mara McDonald reports, Ford has already plugged its sewer system to stop the spread of its leak.
The EPA and Eagle going door to door all day and evening measuring levels of benzene vapor in the sewer system in a 4 square mile area bordered by Vreeland, I-75, east of Cahill and north of Woodruff. 10 homes and 1 school have been evacuated.
If they're feeling lightheaded or dizzy in any way like that, need to immediately exit the home, get fresh air, call 911.
The cause of those vapors, a fuel spill at the nearby Ford Flat Rock plant, according to Eagle. The estimate is between 1,000 to 3,000 gallons of unleaded gasoline. It discovered what it thought was a small gasoline pipe leak Wednesday. It shut the pipe down and had the fuel in the primary and containment tanks removed and thought the issue had been handled. In a statement, the company says, quote, "Today we determined that the scale of the fuel leak was much larger and that Ford is the likely source of the problem in Flat Rock, for which we apologize. Now, getting the fire suppression foam in the sewers will handle the benzene vapor issue. How to clean up the spill is a different process entirely."
The environmental impact is huge. This is somewhere we just can't readily remove it. It's in our sewer systems. It may or may not be in our soil.
Mara McDonald, Local 4.
Eagle says fire suppression foam is being put into the sewers to handle the vapor issue, but residents still need to be on high alert for foul odors. Ford has put plugs in the sewers leading from the plants to stop any further gas leakage.
COVID cases in children are rising as they return to school and prep sports.
At least 12 football players at Detroit's Renaissance High School have coronavirus and 40 others are in quarantine. Experts say last week children accounted for more than 1/5 of COVID cases across the country. On Friday, Michigan reported nearly 4,500 cases and 51 deaths over the past 2 days. That's an average of more than 2,000 cases a day. Meanwhile, federal unemployment benefits that were extended during the pandemic expire this coming Monday.
Well, we still have so much more to come on Local 4 News today. I just like that we're both going to be happy with this forecast.
Yeah, a little taste of summer, a little taste of fall. Maybe we'll mix in some, I don't know, some fall flavors, some apple pie with our hot dogs and burgers this year.
I'm not ready to hear fall. I was just going to say a dip. I was ready for a dip, Paul.
You know, we're going to do the best we can to please everybody. Okay, that's hard to do when you're a meteorologist, but we do have a lot to talk about, and we also have some climate information from this past summer that I think you're going to find quite eye-opening. We'll talk about all of that and our holiday weekend forecast all straight ahead.